Thank you for inviting me at your conference to present to you the European Resuscitation Council Guidelines 2021. I have no conflict of interest to declare. Speaking about the ERC guidelines, they are probably the best informed guidelines the ERC has ever produced. So I'm very proud today to be able to present them to you. We all know that the evidence in medicine or in science is increasing exponentially. And also the public is expecting to find evidence-based treatment guidelines at any time at their fingertip. And therefore, the ERC guidelines are based on the consensus on science of the International Liaison Committee on Resuscitation. The International Liaison Committee on Resuscitation is composed of many regional large organizations, resuscitation councils, such as the ERC, but also the American Heart Association, the Inter-American Heart Foundation, the Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa, and SCORE, Asia, and Canada. So it's really a global effort, and the purpose of ILCO is to review the evidence on resuscitation. It's not just the evidence or the studies, it's also patients' values and preferences that are important to reach a guideline, and also clinical judgment. And the combination of these is what we call evidence-based medicine. And ILCO is using very rigorous methods to extract the data from original studies and produce treatment recommendations. And these recommendations can be strong or weak based on a certain level of certainty, which may be high, moderate, low, or very low, all according to the GREAT methodology. This is a snapshot of the ILCO review website, where you can easily find all the systematic reviews and the scoping reviews of ILCO, and the ERC is using these reviews to base the guidelines on. It's not just the ILCO reviews we use for our guidelines, but also writing group discussions and consensus amongst experts. And all these are approved by the General Assembly of the ERC. The ERC is applying a very rigorous conflict of interest management procedure. This is reviewed by our governance committee and published on the ERC website. So it's really transparent, and I can say that the guidelines are free of any conflict of interest. New in the guidelines is stakeholder consultations. You may remember that last year, around October, we published the draft guidelines online at the ERC website for everybody to comment on, and this has greatly improved our guidelines. The ERC guidelines have a cycle of 5 years, but ILCO is reviewing the science in a continuous way. The ERC is still providing yearly updates if necessary. Now, coming back to the ERC Guidelines 2021, there are 11 chapters, and I'd like to highlight 2 particularly important and novel chapters. The first one is System Saving Lives. This is not about the resuscitation in itself, but it is about the system built around resuscitation, starting from bystander CPR to dispatches, providing phone CPR and alerting the emergency services. It's about the ambulances, and then about hospital treatment, all the way to intensive care and even further on. So this is really the system that saves a life, not just the individual. The other important chapter I find is ethics. The ethics chapter is really innovative, and there is no good CPR without good ethics. So really take a look at this, and I'm sure that during your conference, this will be highlighted as well. We've also changed the style of our guidelines, and there's always three components. We start with highlighting the key changes. Secondly, is the concise guidelines for clinical practice. And thirdly, for those wanting to know more, there is the evidence informing the guidelines. We've also produced a whole series of algorithms and infographics, as you can see on the right-hand side, an example. This was, in an overview, in a nutshell, the ERC guidelines and the background on which they are based. So I thank you for listening to me, and I wish you a very, very good conference today. Thank you very much.